This is day 22 of morning routines suck, but we're doing them anyway. I've basically come to the conclusion that this is just going to be like a journal for me, and I'm just going to document my mornings until I become a morning person. Or if I don't ever become a morning person, at least I'll document my effort in actually waking up and trying to get started a little bit earlier. But I'm basing all of this off of three things. Well, actually, even before the three things, I'm not waking up any earlier, not super earlier to start this. What I'm doing is I'm cutting out all that time where I'm just sitting in my chair with like a coffee or an energy drink trying to wake up because I'm killing my day. Actually, I'm not necessarily killing my day, I'm just missing out on a huge portion of the day that I could be a lot more productive. And that's definitely in my mornings. At nighttime, that's where it's at for me. That's where I'm most awake and alert. I actually have to force myself to go to bed early at like 11 p.m. or 11:30 because if not, I'm not hitting my stride until like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And this is not for lack of trying. My father was the exact same way, and I'm a huge believer. Not only did I see this growing up, but I inherited his genetics. So some of us are just not cut out for the morning, but that doesn't mean that we get off the hook either. So back to my three things. When we wake up in the morning, we are chronically dehydrated. We've been peeing and sweating all night. So not only do we need to put water back in, we need to put electrolytes, salt. I don't have any electrolytes. I've got my pink Himalayan salt. It's not even Redmond salt anymore. It is a cheap Chinese version that I put into a Redmond's bottle. And I got a handy dandy microplastic filled water bottle. And I'm not worried about the microplastics because part of this process is understanding that there's so many small things we put in our way to keep us from actually doing what we need to do. And if I were to wake up every morning and want to go to the well and pull the water up and get me a copper cup and drink my water that way, naturally infused with nature's electrolytes, I mean, that would be great. But I'd be even more dehydrated by the time I pulled all this water up. So we're not going to overthink things. We're going to hydrate. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to hit a quick workout. Now, this workout is not a gym workout. This is just something like burpees. That's what I'm going to do today. Again, I'm going to try. Uh, we want blood flow. The blood flow will bring oxygen into the brain. And oxygen in the brain is how we erase that mental fog, increase your mental clarity with oxygen being driven right into the brain. And you want to get into this pretty soon after you wake up because the faster you get this done, the faster you can start your day, or at least the faster you'll feel better. But the third thing we want to do is remember to get some vitamin D. That's why I'm outside. I'm undercover right now, so the lighting's a little bit better. The vitamin D will help to signal your body to wake up. Or the sunlight will signal your body to produce vitamin D. It'll also signal your body to wake up. But again, after you drink this saltwater concoction for long enough, you'll actually kind of get used to it. So let's get right into it. Got to make sure the stuff is dissolved because if not, it'll linger at the bottom and then you get like this kick of salt. It's kind of like getting hit in the face with a wave at the beach. You know, you're tasting salt water for like 5 minutes after that. You really do feel a lot better as soon as that water hits. I could tell this morning I had peed a lot last night. I got to go outside to use the bathroom. So at night, I just have like a gallon water jug beside my bed so I can just shishi right into the bucket. I mean, right into the gallon water or the gallon bucket, the gallon jug. But I could tell last night I peed a little extra, which means I'm going to be even more dehydrated this morning. Definitely feeling a lot better. But we're going to do some burpees. I'm not going to prolong this for much longer. Hopefully set this up so it's a little bit easier to see. All right. So I actually sped this up 2 times, and it was the fastest that iMovie would allow me to speed it up. But I would have definitely sped it up more. You can tell the cat's moving kind of fast, but I still look like, oh man, I look like an old man doing these burpees. I think I hit 15. These have definitely got to improve. I'll probably add another round in maybe in the afternoon just so I can start feeling better about my form, my everything. They're looking pretty rough, but we're gonna keep going. Got me a little pump, so I feel better now. And again, the pump is the cure for so much stuff. We just gotta start moving and get some blood flowing. Yeah, we gotta pause and catch our breath. Whew, feel a lot better. Like getting the pump really does help. I mean, it gives you're out of breath, of course, but I mean, you feel a lot better. Plus, being fasted, I hadn't eaten breakfast yet. I don't have any food in my stomach. Only thing I've got is just the water that you saw me drink. You really get to see how lean you are before you start putting food in. And when the carbs get in, they get inside your muscles and start expanding. So you really don't see what you're like in a flat state uh, unless you check yourself out first thing in the morning. I heard this recently, and I think it's true. The pump is the cure. And it sounds like such a gym bro thing to say. But what is a pump? A pump is blood flow. When you're working your muscle, your blood, it's a signal for blood to go into the muscle to pump in nutrients. These nutrients that are coming in, this blood that's coming in, is going to cause your muscle to swell up. That's what the pump is. And the person that was talking about it was talking about this pump being a cure for depression. Like if you're having a bad day, if you're in a low vibrational state, a lot of times you can knock down some push-ups, hit some burpees, and just by having an elevated heart rate, blood flow, you're going to feel better. It's more oxygen in the brain. It's actually a physical response to your depression. But if you think about it, blood flow actually helps out in other situations too. When you get an injury, if you sprain your ankle, any kind of a knee injury, we know now science has taught us that blood flow is crucial to healing. So the pump doesn't necessarily stop in the gym as far as its curative benefits. You can actually get healed or healing from getting a pump for an injury. And I'm not talking about working the area out to get the pump, but sometimes you can, like, for example, a lower back injury. I slipped one of my discs. I can't remember which one it was, but I slipped it, and it was a result of my knee being messed up. I was compensating for my knee with my lower back. I was actually doing barbell rows, and it snapped. I mean, you could just pop. So I looked it up before I went to the doctor, and they said that the snap that I heard was the gas being released when that disc slipped out. And that was the actual sound that I heard. I don't know if I heard it out loud, like I heard it with my ears, or I felt it. That's kind of trippy. I don't know exactly which one it is, but the injury was terrible. I had to go get the MRI, go to a specialist. They weren't going to operate. It wasn't that bad, but one of the things that helped was actually exercising very gingerly my lower back because it was driving blood into that injury. And that's a big part of the healing process. So the pump is the cure not only like for the psychosomatic, for the depression, for the anxiety, but it can actually be a cure for a real injury. And the gym in and of itself is very therapeutic if you think about it. We talk a lot about bettering ourselves, personal development. And a lot of times when people first hear that, they don't know where to start. Maybe your life is in shambles. I don't know. But if you don't know where to start, and today is Monday, so if you know that there has to be a change made, but you just are just drowning in your own difficulties or your bad decisions, always start with yourself. And the easiest place to start with yourself is your physical appearance. There's always something about us that we want to change, or we want to be better. We want it to look better. And 9 times out of 10, that can be accomplished by going to the gym, number one, and watching what you eat, number two. But thinking about the gym as actual therapy, it's kind of a little bit of a mind hack because for years and years and years, the gym has been like a meathead kind of a place, right? Especially like your 80s and your 90s, your Arnolds and all of the meatheads. We've even got the anti-meathead movement now with places like Planet Fitness. But that's because people are understanding that resistance training, adding muscle to your body, is one of the best things that you can do for your overall health. I heard it said one time that we're not overweight as a society, we're under muscled. Now, obviously, we are incredibly overweight as a society, but it doesn't change the fact that we are under muscled as well. And we hear a lot about bone density and how you need to increase your density. One of the easiest ways you can go about doing that is by building bigger muscles. If you build bigger muscles, the bone compensates by becoming denser. If you think that's just bro science, it's not. You can Google it, you can chat GPT it. It's actual science. But having a gym and having it as part of your routine, this is what's going to help you make that first initial change, that physical change, when you realize that you can actually change your body through a plan, through diet, through exercise, through daily non-negotiable habits that you do uncompromisingly. Once you see those results, then you don't compartmentalize success in fitness. What you want is a holistic view of life, and you want to be able to apply a success plan in one area and have it bleed over into another. Now, it's not going to look exactly the same, but when you go to the gym, you're generally surrounded by people who are in shape, people who are healthier than you, they have more muscle than you, and that's a motivating factor for you to stick with your plan, to put the reps in, to show up every day. The same is true with finances. You got to be around people who are living life at a higher level than you. And if you can't get around them, well, then you're going to have to study. You're going to have to put yourself in a position to maybe meet some of these people. Hey, and a lot of times, those people that are doing better off financially, they're in the gym because they're trying to do better physically. So a lot of times you can get into like a symbiotic relationship with someone just by being friendly and putting yourself out there. You might be working out next to a fat multimillionaire who's finally figured out that, hey, I've got this money thing down pat, but I've got to figure out a way how to parlay this mindset into fitness. You might be coming at it from the exact opposite. You might be trying to figure out, hey, look, I'm jacked, I'm ripped, but man, I'm still working this 9 to 5. I've got to figure things out. So just by being willing to expose your vulnerabilities, by showing up every day, by putting yourself in a social situation, there's tons of doors that could potentially open up. And again, one of the biggest things for me is success should be shown in all aspects of your life. That's just my philosophy. Like, if you're really good in one area, you should be able to become really good in another area. Now, it's a process. Nobody's saying this is going to happen like overnight, but just by identifying your weaknesses, by being willing to say, hey, look, I need to get better in this, then that self honesty, that's a huge part of personal development. So if you don't know where to start, you can start today. You can do something as easy as stop drinking sodas. I mean, liquid calories and snacks, that's what's killing America, man. It's not necessarily this fast food. I mean, fast food is bad and it's super calorically dense and all of that, but I eat fast food. But what I don't do is I don't snack. I mean, watching Netflix for a couple of hours at night, I know my friends put back like 1,500 calories worth of just soda and Pop Tarts and chips. And I look at the volume of food, and then I try to show them, hey, look, you could have eaten a ribeye steak, 8 ounce. You could have had a baked potato with sour cream and butter, and it would have still been less calories than just watching Netflix and just mindlessly eating. We're destroying ourselves one snack at a time. I don't know if that's going to be my soapbox for today or what, but the snacks are just, man, they're killing us. They're literally, they're keeping us from having a life and a life more abundantly here on earth. And not only that, they're sending us to a grave early. People are trading their time on earth. They're trading their time with their friends, their family, their loved ones. They're trading that off so they can eat a fruit snack, so they can drink a Mountain Dew. It, it hurts when I see it. And then sometimes when you start trying to explain this to them, they get depressed and they get further in that cycle. And it's like, my goodness. So, look, if you find yourself just not knowing what to do, it's easy. Start today. Go for one 10-minute walk and drink one bottle of water. Try to cut out your sodas, try to cut out your snacks, but just start with some activity. If you can't, if you're not in a place where you can remove something from your life, then add in something healthy. Add in a walk, add in some water. Now, life is best lived as from a perspective of subtraction. A lot of times we think we have to add in all this stuff, and sometimes it can be easier to add in things, but really life is simply lived at its best when we just start removing things that aren't ideal. So we don't necessarily have to add in a bunch of crazy stuff. We can start by taking away things. That's that's the most efficient way to go about it. But again, if we're in a position to where just nothing, not even a volcano erupting is going to move me from where I'm at right now, just go for a walk. You'll feel better. I promise you, a 10-minute walk can revolutionize just your day in general. You'll come back, you'll have more oxygen in your brain, you'll have some blood flow circulating, and then drink a bottle of water. Healthy living and making decisions that better yourself, they start one decision at a time. And if you can start today by just simply picking up a bottle of water and drinking it, please don't just do it for yourself. There's people that are depending on you, especially if you're a parent. Your kids will always fail to do what you tell them to do, but they will never, ever, ever fail to emulate how you act.